Daughters of Reddit, what is something you wish your father knew about girls when you were growing up? My dad was a high school teacher that taught at a really good school. As a teen, I wanted to attend the school my dad taught at, but he and my mother insisted I attended a different one that was apparently of a better standard. It wasn't until years later my mother admitted to me that the reason I was put in a different school was because my dad didn't want me to get teased by other students about him or feel embarrassed by him. I wish my dad knew he could never embarrass me. Love you, daddy. R.I.P. I liked trains. He apparently was really sad when my gender was revealed and I was a girl. He wanted a boy to play trains with and I was the last kid they were going to have. Youngest of 3 girls. I liked trains. My mom would buy toy trains and train movies for me to play with and I would play with them for hours, but my dad never saw me playing with them because when he got home from work, all I wanted to do was play with my dad and he didn't typically use toys to play with me. He would just teach me cool stuff or tell me jokes and stories. He played using his voice. If I had known he wanted to play with trains, we would have had a blast. That I'm not a boy, and it hurts immensely when you spend more time with the neighbor's son than your own daughter because I'm not the boy he wanted. Accept the fact that your daughter will eventually need OBGYN visits, birth control, and will participate in dating and Rex at some point. You don't have to be happy about it, but please don't shame me or make me feel ashamed that I enjoy being human. I have to leave the room or wait for dad to leave in order to call my OBGYN office, and I'm 23 years old. That he shouldn't wonder why I don't like to talk to him, spending time with him or anything else involving him when he repeatedly insults and berates me. My dad came over yesterday and asked my mum why I keep leaving the room whenever he tries to talk. He can't say anything nice to me without throwing in about 3 more insults because he disapproves of who I am as a person and hates that I like who I am. How bad periods can be. My dad thinks that a period is all about blood, but never understands that I go through an awful pain while on my period. How to brush hair. When I was little I remember crying every morning before school because my dad would just take the brush and practically rip my scalp off. All he would say was, "Sorry, I don't know how to do girl hair, ouch." You're allowed to think my boyfriend or girlfriend is cool. You don't have to try to be all intimidating towards them. They are not here to hurt me. Dad, whatever you do to her, I'll do the same thing to you. I can do more than just cook you food and mend your clothes. When I was entering high school I wanted to go into the automotive repair class. It was a 4-year program and I needed a parent's signature. He wouldn't do it because I was a girl. My mom signed for me. Don't tell your daughters they can't do something because of their gender. Encourage them to try new things, even if it doesn't fit your idea of what a girl should be into. When I said I wanna talk to mom about this, I meant it. 13-year-old me did not wanna ask him to take me to get feminine supplies or pantyhose. Also, I'd want to make sure he knew how special he is. Dad always came to my violin performances instead of my mom because his presence was much more calming. Mom came once and I totally tanked it. She wasn't allowed back without my dad. Kids aren't action figures. You don't get to mold them to be whatever you want them to be, and you don't get to vicariously live your fantasies through them. PMS is a real thing that affects some women, but it only occurs for a few days at a very specific point in the menstrual cycle, and it's more likely to produce feelings of fatigue/depression/anxiety than feelings of anger/irritability. When you blame all female emotions on PMS, it's both scientifically inaccurate and tremendously invalidating. Pay attention to the media your kid consumes, and don't dismiss or ridicule girl-oriented media. Girls crave female role models, so make sure your daughter gets exposed to female characters in something other than love interest/princess/celebrity/caretaker roles. Seek out media where female characters are problem solvers, adventurers, and leaders. Don't act like feminine things are shameful or boring. Don't be the dad who stays out in his car during his daughter's ballet class because sitting with the dance moms is too embarrassing. Don't be the dad who refuses to buy pads/tampons at the grocery store. Don't be the dad who says that women's sports are low action. Don't be the dad who lavishes time and attention on sons while ignoring daughters. Kids are smarter than you think, and they pick up on stuff like that. Forcing math on me to try to combat the girls aren't good at math myth only made me hate it. I actually liked math as a little kid, and I was really good at all of the early subjects, but my dad is an accountant, and he was so excited for me to love math, like he does, that he pushed me really hard. Extra workbooks, ridiculously complicated problems, that were years ahead of what I was learning in school, etc. My math grades started slipping, just the tiniest bit, and a teacher told my dad it's okay, girls just aren't good at math. So he redoubled his efforts, and by middle school, I hated it. I was actually failing geometry by sophomore year, with a perfect GPA in every other subject. I nearly missed a school field trip, because he told me I could only go if I solved one of his impossible problems, and I was so desperate, that I asked a teacher for help, which was against his rules. My mom had to put her foot down, and it caused a lot of tension at home. Now I'm an adult with 2 Ivy League degrees and an excellent job, as far away from math as I could get. I know he'll always be disappointed about that, even though he's clearly really proud of me, and we have a great relationship. I love being outside, taking things apart, and robots. It's perfectly fine if you enjoy those kind of activities, no matter your gender. Being treated like a delicate flower and telling me you can't do that because you are a female wasn't the best thing. Love my dad, but sometimes his comments about what I wanted to do were not appreciated. Example, wanted to be a mechanic because I loved helping my grandfather restore his cars, go to car shows, and all that jazz. Dad's response: no daughter of mine is going to be a mechanic. It's either nothing or engineering. That we aren't more fragile than boys, and that we might be interested in the same hobbies as them if they gave us a chance. Still waiting for that camping trip Dad got that hits home. My brother got to do all the cool stuff, camping, fishing, hiking, and whilst I enjoyed my weekends with my mum, I would have loved to do that too. Fast forward 20 years and we don't talk because he's still mad that I emigrated to a place where I could go do all the outdoorsy stuff I wanted right from my front door. That breasts may not grow the same size at the same time. Sometimes only one breast develops, and the other may take months for the hormones to take and start growing. It is perfectly normal, and there's no need to panic. Also, getting breasts didn't mean I felt like a woman yet. I was mostly just grossed out and learning to deal with wearing my backpack and the chafing. Just because I'm a girl doesn't mean I'm invalid and empty-headed. I have many opinions, thoughts, and feelings. I'm an intelligent young woman, something you tried so hard to keep me from believing. Please do not dismiss me and tell me I know nothing simply because you think women are less than men. Maybe then I wouldn't have grown to resent him so much. Being a woman does not make me a wimp. My dad will be driving like a maniac and I'll be trying to get him to slow down, and he'll say wimps. Sometimes I forget that you're girls. Both of your daughters have anxiety disorders. Slow the heck down. Or he'll use our gender as the reason we don't like the TV super loud, or don't like finding puddles on the kitchen floor. He's so hard to talk to. I would have liked if my dad talked to me about boys and shared his opinion about my boyfriends and gave me advice. Actually, I just wished my dad talked to me about anything. I wanted to know about his life, his childhood, etc. I wanted him to share his interests, what music he liked, what concerts he went to. I know nothing. He's just a quiet guy. The only time we have real conversations is if he has a few beers. Dad's job growing up was to discipline and create respect for him through fear. I was afraid of him until I was 18. Now it feels like there is a lot of lost time. I never understood what people meant when they would add as girls. I never experienced that. Also, not siding with my mom for every single disagreement we ever had. I know he was just trying to support her because it was worse to have an angry wife, but it really hurt me. I guess it's up to me to get to know him now and understand how he became who he is. That it's not okay to comment on your daughter's body. It's not acceptable to tell your teenage daughter to flirt with guys in their 20s to get free/better stuff. It's not alright to make fun of your daughter for eating candy or tell her she's going to get fat if she eats stuff like that. The best being when you blow air into your cheeks to really make your point just because you wanted the chocolate bar for yourself. Yeah, my father is no longer in my life.